make a video. Film you being silly. Good workout, good workout. So it is 3 o'clock here, guys. I have not made it out in the workshop or outside really to do any work. Where you saw me going just a couple clips ago there, we went in the truck. We went to the gym this morning to get in a little exercise, and I've just been here working. I went and grabbed some lunch, ate it here at the computer while doing some work. I just got a video ready to go up, which you would have already watched, because of course the one you're watching now is behind. Emails, dealing with clients, knife sales, things like that. Just a lot of planning. My summers involve a lot of planning, getting ready for the show that comes up in the fall, gearing up. Business starts to pick up in the summer, leading into the fall. Of course, everybody getting back into that bush mode and stuff, trying to get ready for Christmas, different marketing strategies and stuff. So lots going on, but which is why I haven't really been filming a lot either lately. It hasn't really seemed like super interesting content. But what I'm going to start doing is just kind of filming and taking you guys along regardless. We'll find something to film. We'll try to take you guys along at whatever I'm going to be doing. You let me know if that sounds okay to you. Because as for like the super cool, interesting productions and stuff, just the pace of my days and what's going on right now, I'm just not able to get a really cool video every couple days. It's just not gonna happen. So I'll do my best. I'm gonna shoot for a couple of 3 videos a week anyways, and hopefully we're able to keep them decently interesting. But time to package up some orders. So I probably still got another hour's work here, and maybe then we'll get out in the workshop for a little bit before the day is over. And we're back here again. It is 10 minutes to 10 in the morning here on the next day. So what you're watching so far was yesterday, now you're watching today. And I have some more computer work to catch up on. Last night I really didn't get to do much. I mailed those packages. I spent a few hours out in the garage doing some sharpening and other work. This morning I've got to get a few more packages ready to go out. I've got a little bit of computer work, catch up on some emails and things like that. Maybe a little bit of planning. I'll probably be in until lunchtime, but then hopefully we'll get out this afternoon and get you guys something interesting. I'm hoping to get my creative hands to work and do something fun. It's a rainy day out, one of my favorites, so it'll be nice to work in the shop. said I was going to show you guys something exciting before this video ended, and here it is, and this is exciting. Some of you guys, I would say a very small amount of you, will recognize this box here, and only if you've been following the channel for a very long time will you recognize it, and it hasn't been on camera very much, so you probably don't. This is one of my great material treasures, and I just found it the other day. Of course, most of you guys know that I moved this spring, and even before that we were packing up for a long time, and this was a box that there was not much room for at the apartment, so I have not really seen this very much at all. And what's inside, even since I've had it, I haven't combed through what's inside here, so I wanted to take you guys through and show you what it is. Okay, here we go. Oh man, look at these treasures. And these are treasures. Oh, so beautiful. How many of you recognize this? There might be some people watching this, really young guys, that may have never seen something like this before. Some of you older guys watching, I know if you're real ancient like Mr. Wingfield there, you will have probably used these, but these are not all too common anymore. So this is my collection of straight razors. Have a look at that. These are all pretty much shave ready, and even though, geez, I haven't used one of these in a while now, but I'll give credit where credit is due. Ray Bartlett hasn't been on the channel for a while. He was on one show last year of the Newfoundland Hobbyist, where he's the guy who rolled his ATV. He's been using straight razors. He's right around my age. He's been using straight razors since he was, sheesh, I'm not sure when, but probably back just after he got out of high school or so. And when we started really hanging out in university, he got me into this hobby, gave me some interest in it, and I went from there. I started my own little collection. He has a beautiful collection. He still sharpens. Usually if I need one of my straights sharpened, he sharpens them. He has, we're not going to get into it here at this point, but sharpening for straight razors requires a whole separate and unique skill set and set of tools from sharpening knives and other edge tools. It's such a refined skill. You need tools and stones that, unless you have straight razors, there's just absolutely no use or point in owning them. But yeah, I've been absolutely fascinated with them from the first time that I shaved with one back so many years ago. It was just awesome. And when I found my first one, which is, where are you? Here she is. So this was my very first razor. After Ray got me interested in razors, I started on the hunt looking for one, and I found this one. This is an A. Wilson & Son that I found at like a Sunday market in Corner Brook, Newfoundland. I was living there at the time, going to school. Made in Sheffield, England. It was rough, and it was one of the very early videos I did on my YouTube channel. I restored this razor. Now after that, I built this set. This is a set of spalted birch scales that I crafted for it. Notice that gloss. They had a really nice coat of varnish. But that is this razor. Ray sharpened it for me because the edge was just destroyed, but Ray sharpened it for me, and I shaved with just this one for quite some time. It's a really nice shaving razor. It's in razor standards. This is hard to show because they're so fine, but notice how far that edge goes down right to there. In razor standards, this is a very thick. This is getting closer to a wedge razor. It doesn't have a lot of scoop here. So it doesn't give much vibration. You don't get the feel through the razor like a thinner one. But this is a beauty. Just a quick rundown. So some people would call this the handle. This is not the handle. This is just an edge cover. You don't even need this other than to protect the edge. This is how you hold your razor. Of course, you could just pinch it here if you'd like. The idea is to just hold the knife or the blade to shave with, but This is where you get all your control right here, and it is very controlled when it's in your hand just like this. Now I believe this was the second razor that I came in possession of. I don't even remember where I got this. This is a Geneva Cutlery Company. Also restored this on video. This razor wasn't all too rough. It's a very nice profile razor. Nice, fairly straight blade. The tang is quite solid there. Just a little bit of jimping on this bottom side, which some razors have. Notice the much thinner profile of this razor. So I did a little restoration on this one, and yeah, it's beautiful. New York, USA. This would be considered a fairly plain razor, nothing exquisite, no extra fancy designs or anything, no extra special scales. This is just a nice user razor. Now the next couple here are in no particular special order. I got a few of them at around the same time. I don't remember where I got them. Oh, it was actually on a trip to Halifax with my wife. We did some kind of scoping and some scouting around, and I found a few razors. And I believe this was one of them right here. And this one, I got a bunch on that trip. I believe I might have sold or traded a couple of them, but these are three beauties here. Now remember, all of these need a little maintenance. Now I can see they're starting to get a little bit of surface rust on a few of them, but just let me show them to you. I just love straight razors. They're so beautiful, and something I've decided I want to dive back into again. I'll just make a point. I haven't shaved with a normal, like a modern style razor since I started collecting vintage razors, since Ray got me into vintage razors. This is a Geo Wolstenholmes, another Sheffield, England razor. This one is in spectacular condition, beautiful profile, very nice deep blade there. Nice rounded scales. This is getting a little on the nicer side. No jimping on this one, but very pretty razor. This is what, a JS, yeah, JS Holler & Co. San Francisco. This was like a collaboration of companies. This actual razor is made in Germany. Beautiful profile there. Again, no jimping. A jimping or a lot of tang stamping like that would have been a little bit of a sign of a higher end razor back in the day. It would have been like a little bit of a luxury to have some of those milled traction pieces on there. Of course, because it takes more time to do that. Notice the scales here. Black. Solid black here. Looks like an olive green on this side. I think this razor may have spent a lot of its life laid on a windowsill like that. Maybe for years and years, because you can see there that this is just faded. It's just sunburnt black. Notice this razor wants to be cleaned up in there now around that pivot. I did a lot of shaving with this one. This was my favorite for a long time. And this, I really enjoyed this one for a long time. I like the color, the weight. This is, look at this blade. Isn't that beautiful? Stacy Cutlery. I'm thinking an American made. I don't remember. I believe I studied up on this razor. I found some good information back in the day. But this was my favorite shaver for a long time. Notice the beautiful profile of this razor. You have some blade etching there. And notice the jimping here and a different grade, a more fine grade jimping right there. So this would be a very comfortable razor, very light, it's thin, not a lot of steel there. It's a little bit on the smaller side, but it is just a beautiful shaver. I really enjoy this razor. Now this razor right here, my wife brought back to me as a gift. So this one is extra special as well. My wife went for, what would you call it? Not exactly an internship, but something on that lines. Kind of like an in-field study program to Harlow, England. She spent a couple months there, and she found this at sort of an antique shop on one of the streets down there in London, England, I believe. Maybe it was out in Harlow that she found this. But this is a German Hamburg ring. Beautiful razor in very good condition. I did some cleanup, very light restoration on it. Had some surface staining and stuff. Most of these are carbon steel. I don't think I've ever seen a straight razor made from stainless, although they probably exist. But this is a beautiful razor and special to me because, of course, it has that little story. Anytime something can have a story like that, it's a little nicer, of course. Now, this is the priciest razor in my collection. This is a gorgeous Boker. Just look at this. This is actually a new razor. Well, it's several years old now. It was a gift from my parents when I graduated university. It's something I really wanted, and they bought it for me upon graduation. But it is just a beautiful, look at that inlay right there. That silver inlay, those light scales, the ivory scales. This one's worth bringing you guys in for. Have a look at that stamping. Isn't that beautiful? Well, something interesting as well, Boker changed this tree design all throughout the history of their company. So if you go on the Boker site, you can actually date your piece by comparing it to all the different logo diagrams, the little changes in the branches of the trees and stuff. You can actually date your piece in that way. So if you find an older Boker, you can do that. Now, speaking of older Bokers, this is one right here. This is actually one that I got from Ray in a trade. He took, I don't know what the other one was that I had. I don't remember the name of it now. But this is interesting. Have a look at this. This is called a Boker Featherweight. Now, it is a beautiful and elegant little razor, but notice how shallow the profile is. It's actually stamped featherweight right there. It's in mint condition. Ouch. Notice the profile, but it really is a featherweight. Look how thin that tang is. It's just the lightest, most petite little razor, and I love it for shaving with. For me, if I was trying to get someone else into straight razor shaving and they were a little bit nervous about it, this is probably what I would give them to start off with. It's a very unintimidating razor. It doesn't have a lot of, it gives you a lot of feedback, but you don't get that real hollow piercing sound as it breaks through hairs and stuff. It's a mild feeling razor. You feel in control of it. Doesn't feel like too much. I find razors that are really deep with a lot of hollow grinding. Like I believe Ray has one that's a really deep. Their base straight razors are labeled in terms of depth here in relation to an inch. So most standard razors like I have here would be a 5/8 razor. I'm not sure what this one would be, probably a 1/2 inch. But I find the deeper they are, the longer you have that paper thin strip of steel. And to me, I don't like a deeper bellied razor. I like a more thin. 5/8 is nice. It's kind of the middle ground, the most you'll see. But something like this is really, really nice feeling. You really feel in control of it. But again, I'm able to go in and date this razor by the Boker tree there, which is something interesting about the Boker name. Same thing goes for their knives. Now this was one of my very early razors as well. I just pulled out there. It's looking a little rough now, and I can definitely see where my craftsmanship has improved. The scales on this one were broke up, so I built my own set of scales out of some micarta that I had there. And these scales are way too thick, it's too clunky. Didn't do a real great job of sanding them down. It's made in Sheffield, England. Just a beautiful razor, a beautiful profile. Notice how thin this razor is. I'm not sure if you can appreciate that on camera or not, but just a beautiful razor. A nice shaver. It's got some really fine jimping on the underside there, so it feels great in the hand. The only thing I don't like about this razor, and I think I might get changed, notice the square nose here. I've cut myself with that before because it's such a sharp, as it's brushing against the skin, if that corner, if you don't keep out on the convex of your face like this, if if you keep in, if that corner touches your skin, it really easily wants to catch your skin. And I remember the worst time I cut myself with this razor was I was standing as a groomsman for my good friend's wedding, and I was shaving that morning, giving myself a nice shave, and I chose to use this TR Cadman that morning, and I ran this corner right down my cheek and put a nice little slit right down across here. I bet if you were to look at the pictures, no one mentioned it, but I bet if you were to look at the pictures, you would see that little slit in my cheek. So now some of you guys might be wondering, if I've never had this box in a while and haven't used this razor in a while, and yet I have not used a modern style razor in a while, then what have I been shaving with? So that is my collection. If you look back through my earlier videos, you'll even see where I shaved a whole beard, similar, and probably similar length to this. I shaved one right from beard to smooth, no clipping first, with one of these razors. I don't remember which one it was, but that was kind of an awkward video, but you might want to go check it out. Also go check out some of the early restorations that I did on some of these razors. But like I said, there was a time in my life where this was one of my biggest hobbies and passions. I was just so interested, and I really thank Ray for getting me into it, because it gave us really something to talk about, and it was a lot of fun. But I'm really hoping to dive back into these again. I'd like to pick up a few more and do some restorations, get some more of this content on the channel, because it's interesting. It's definitely a cool hobby. And of course, like a lot of things, just like freehand sharpening and leather crafting, a lot of the things I do here, they're dying arts and skills and hobbies and things that I think should not be allowed to die. They should be kept going. And this is something, there are so many razors out there lying in hobby stores and antique shops and stuff like that in rough condition that should be brought back from the dead and put back into use again, because they're beautiful, beautiful little treasures. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do want to see more of this razor type content, please comment below and let me know. If you'd like to see me do a restoration, if you'd like to see me show how you would shave one of these, or go through some of the sharpening process, maybe we'll do it all, we'll see, but let me know. Also let me know if you have any memories of a family member, a grandfather, an uncle, your father, using one of these regularly, shaving with these regularly. Which there was a time of probably a couple of years there where this is exclusively what I use. And believe it or not, there was a time that I had a pretty clean shaven face. I would shave every couple days with one of these. But yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Comment down below, like I said, let me know. Hit that like button. If this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button and go check out some of that old content. We'll see you in the next video. Sneak peek, what's in the bottom? We'll save that for another time. Thanks for staying to the very end.